we're becoming this signifier and a marker of a safe space. So when it goes beyond your products and you actually have a mission that you believe in, it helps a lot. And that's what happened with Tori Spelling, for example. She heard our story, she reached out, she loved the cookies, the brand. And when we told her that we were becoming this signifier of a safe space and what it meant, she was immediately is like, guys, let's do something together. I would love to be involved in something like this. And someone asked me, what's the scariest place on earth that you've ever been? And I thought about the first day of school. When you're a little kid, you don't know what to expect. Everything is new. You don't know what you are, who you are. And I came out of the closet when I was 30 years old. And I picture myself back in that same first day of school. What would it mean for me to see another little kid taking a Wunderkeks cookie outside of his lunchbox? And just because he did it, that meant that I was safe around him, that I could be myself around him. And that would have been a life changer for me, like in my entire life. And just knowing that we're building a company that it's achieving that and it's giving that to the world, especially right now that it's so needed. It's something that for us is priceless. And we understood along the way that right now it's our time to tell our story, but we need to start hearing and letting people tell their stories because everybody needs a safe space. Everybody needs a different safe space. Your safe space is not the same one that I need, but I need to understand. I need to know your story to understand how can I provide you your safe space and you can feel comfortable around me. So that's something that we really, really believe. And building a mission driven company is not easy, but it's a fight that we are learning how to fight it. And someone told us it's ironic how to start putting people in safe spaces, you need to put yourself in a unsafe space. And it has been the case, but we have done it so far, and we're very happy with the decision that just to ask for a cultural change.
Wow. So tell me more about these safe spaces. I mean, what does that look like? I want to hear about the work you guys are doing in that area. What are you building? What's that going to look like?
Let's start back with how it started. Like we came from Guatemala, which is a very conservative country, a Catholic country. Like we both went to all boys Catholic school. So you can imagine that it was not easy. And we came to Austin, which is like the most liberal bubble you can imagine within Texas, which is rather conservative. And for the first year or so, we started like feeling super free. Like people were nice to us, people were welcoming, people were excited about, oh yeah, and we're so happy that you're here in many, and they expressed that in many ways. The problem with that, I mean, it was great, of course, and we're super grateful. But what we noticed a couple years down the line was that we were getting comfortable. We were like, oh, all the gay discrimination and issues, the homophobia in the world is done because Hans and Luis are comfortable here in Austin, Texas. And it was like a bucket of ice water. Well, first it was like the law about the bathroom, the whole thing in Utah. Then there was the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, and like many, many things. And the last straw for us, and it was like a bucket of ice water, was that they passed a law in Guatemala outlawing gay marriage, which it was outlawed anyway, but they decided that it was very appropriate to do the whole performance theater of like the political theater of passing a law signaling this. So at that point, we're like, okay, how is it possible that coming from where we come from, it's so easy for us to forget about all of this with our experience that we're very fortunate. And I think it's very important not to play the victim. So in our case, it was not a violent situation, the type of discrimination we suffered, but that is not true of everyone. But it was tough. And we got so comfortable. And then we started like talking to other people and thinking about this. And the truth is that people in New York, in LA, staying in Miami, those like big cities, big places in the US, they probably think the same because we have forgotten. So can you imagine like say white woman, 25 years old, was born and raised in the Bay Area. She probably is not really aware, one, of what's happening outside of her bubble, and two, on how powerful she is and how much she can do to actually help. So with that in mind, that's when we start like talking about the safe spaces and talking about like who is our audience and who we're talking about. And we don't need to explain to gay men what a safe space is and how a safe space is needed, even if some of us kind of forget from time to time. But we need to remind all of these people who are allies, who are not actually living and seeing it. We need to remind them of how powerful these things are. You don't have to go and do big things like just a gesture, for instance, and this happens for Pride. If someone is wearing a rainbow flag t-shirt in Pride, then you know that they're an ally. So what we found out, and the thesis we're basing what we're building is that we treat food and beverage brands the way we used to treat fashion, as a signifier of who we are. If you are a Starbucks person and you put your Starbucks drink on Instagram, that says very different things about you than if you are independent coffee shop and you put that picture. But we all do it in a way. We all say who we are to what we eat and what we consume. So there's an opportunity to harness that and use it for good and to become not only, oh, the cookies, yay, cookies. So you're not supporting the cookies because it's a gay-owned company, which is great, and please do it. Like, support gay-owned companies. God knows we need it. But it is about you yourself using them to signal who you are. So it's not only, okay, I am this estate, or I'm really into fair trade coffee, but saying, I am an ally, this is a safe space. So if you see me carrying a Wunderkeks, if you see me wearing the pink cap, carrying a box, then you know who this person is. And that is a big opportunity, of course, to signal your values. And I think that the end consumer is two ways. On one side, the consumer, the person who actually bought the cookies, is using them for this purpose. And it's great because he wants to express himself, to express herself. But also for the rest of us, when we're like, okay, so I know who this person is, so I can connect with this person, I can be myself, I can be free. So that's the first part of it. And the other part is that cookies and sweets in general, we make them into rituals. So you can think of a birthday cake, or you can think of baking grandma's cookies, or going for ice cream on a Saturday with your dad. Those are special moments, and we use them for special purposes, to mark occasions and to have conversations. So that's for instance, that is the time when we say to each other that we love each other, like, oh, in these little moments. So with those two things, then we get to build like this symbol of a safe space. And then we get to use it not only to say who you are, but to actually welcome and start these conversations about the need for these safe spaces. And where that landed us, so these safe spaces are not only for gay men, which is our particular experience. These safe spaces are for everyone, because people talk about like the oppression Olympics, like everyone has a different level and it's not a competition of who is the more oppressed, but we all suffer. And it's very easy also for us, for instance, for us as gay men, it's very easy to say, oh, white straight men are so privileged, they don't need this. That is not true. They need it in a different way. And that is important that we just open the door and let them make the most out of it. So that's the whole idea behind Wunderkeks, and that's how we're building.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.